Hello everyone, and welcome to today's look at mono white humans for Pioneer or Explorer. I'm Scott, and we're coming to you on the Caffeinated Gamers channel, and we're looking at some decks that you might be able to play in this season's Store Championship, because for this season it will be the Pioneer format. And one of the more popular decks at the Pro Tour Phyrexia was this mono white humans deck. So to start with, let's kind of look at the cards that are in the main deck, and then we'll get into the sideboard. In the main deck, you got 13 1-drops with Dauntless Bodyguard to protect a creature, give it indestructible. Hopeful Initiate that has training, and you can remove 2 counters from among creatures you control to destroy a target artifact or an enchantment for 3 mana. You got Recruitment Officer, 4 of, again another 2/1 that allows you to draw cards in the mid to late game, and all the cards in the deck are 3 mana or less, so you can draw anything. And then we've got 3 copies of Skrell, Defector Might, and Skrell's here to protect our better creatures. And when Skrell's on the field, after that you can tap Skrell, pay either a white mana or 2 life, and you can protect that creature from direct removal by giving it hexproof. And you can make it unblockable also from a particular color if you're doing it on the attack and not as part of removal. Alright, in the 2-drop spot, we've got Luminarch Aspirant. You've probably seen a lot of this card over the last several years. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put a +1 counter on target creature you control, and it just grows your team. Your second 2-drop is Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Again, Thalia's a big advantage here. She's got First Strike, and then also non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast, and this is really to slow down your opponent. They're going to have to get rid of Thalia or have to pay extra mana every turn to cast their non-creature spells. And then we have 4 copies of Thalia's Lieutenant, a card you might not be as familiar with. And when Thalia's Lieutenant enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other human you control. And then when another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. So I've had games where I've got 4 or 5 creatures already in play. I play Thalia's Lieutenant. They all get a +1/+1 counter, and then from there you just start growing Thalia's Lieutenant as you go through it. In the 3-drop, Scott, we got 4 copies of Brutal Cathar to take out opponent's creatures, and then we have 4 Atlan Resplendent Cathar to really be the linchpin of the deck. If you get Atlan in play and they can't deal with it, Atlan just becomes this incredibly large threat that will add a 1/1 human creature token every turn when you attack. Alright, for the non-creature stuff in the deck, we have 4 ossifications to deal with planeswalkers and also creatures that we need to get off the field. And then we also have Gideon Blackblade for 3 mana. You get a planeswalker that is also a creature, and is a human. So when Gideon's in play, Thalia's Lieutenant would get a buff from Gideon coming into play, or Thalia's Lieutenant can give Gideon a buff of +1 counter when he's on the battlefield when you put her into play. And then you can, and then probably the most important ability on this is the +1 ability, where you can give another target creature Vigilance, Lifelink, or Indestructible until the end of turn. In some of the decks that we saw in Pro Tour Phyrexia, they were not running this card. What they were running was the Kithian from Magic Origins, which is another version of Gideon. But this, of the cards we have in Arena, this I thought was a pretty good one for us. In the mana base, we've got 2 Castle Ardenvales to give us the ability to create 1/1 human creatures later in the game. We've got 2 Ijongos to go ahead and hopefully deal with some of our opponent's threats if we need to. We've got 14 planes and 4 Mutavault, which it turns out to be a very important creature in many games. So when you have Mutavault in play, for 1 mana you can go ahead and attack with it, and it becomes that extra attacker that tends to put that extra 2 to 4 points of damage in that you need to win the game. Alright, so that's the main deck. In the sideboard, we've got 4 Portable Holes, 2 Guardians of Faith to protect our creatures from board wipes. If we know they're using board wipes, we can have Guardian of Faith, and we can flash this in. It'll kill Guardian of Faith, but all of our other creatures will be protected. We've got 3 copies of Redan, God of the Worthy. And the big point here with Redan is non-creature spells your opponent casts with mana value 4 or greater cost 2 more. So this just pushes things like Indomitable Creativity to be more costly for your opponent, hopefully slowing them down enough to allow you to win the game. And if you get a couple copies, you can also flip it to the backside to give you some protection from damage. And we got 4 copies of Wedding Announcement, again, to grow your team, because you get the 1/1 white human creature token when you do. And then after you have 3 counters on it, all your creatures get +1/+1 to help proc the team. And then our final sideboard card, we have 2 copies of Sword of Forge and Frontier to play against the green and red decks out there, giving that creature +2/+2, but more importantly, protection from that creature so they cannot block. And typically I like to attach it to Adeline in those games, and then Adeline just becomes a beast of an attacker that will probably deliver a lethal blow within 1 or 2 turns. Alright, so that's our deck here today. Let's get to some game footage. Quick into our first game against Naruru. Okay, and we're on the play here, which is great for us. Fortunately, we get a 1-land hand, so we're not going to be able to keep that. Alright, we got 2 lands, we got 2 Thalias. Let's get rid of one of our Thalias, and then we will go from there. Even though we've got one of the cards we've got as for a land as a Mutavault, that's okay, because outside of Adeline, no card in the deck costs just 2 mana. And let's go ahead and put that down. We'll put Thalia out. Again, it looks like they're playing direct damage stuff, so we want to slow them down just a little bit. And we might be playing the creativity deck, so I'm going to go really fast here by putting Adeline into play, and we'll go ahead. If we get another land, we'll put both into play. If not, we're going to play Thalia's Lieutenant to grow the team that's there. And then what we'll also be able to do, let's put this down first so we get to grow it. We'll see if they have an answer here. They do not. Let's play Thalia's Lieutenant. Let's see if they have an answer. They do not, and now our entire team is going to get a +1/+1 counter. And Thalia's Lieutenant will, with our attack, Thalia's Lieutenant will grow as well with the +1 from the creature token that we created. And if this gets through, they're down to 1. And that's how fast the deck can go. We're on turn 4. On turn 5, if they don't have a board wipe here, we've won the game. Let's see what they have. Do they have an answer? And they don't have an answer. Let's go to game 2. Alright, so I'm going to make some minor adjustments to the deck. I'm going to assume they're playing one of 2 decks. Either is it Phoenix deck or the Indomitable Creativity deck. So I want to go ahead and make Indomitable Creativity cost more. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take Gideon out as part of this. We don't need the Sword of Forge and Frontier in this particular matchup. And we're going to take out a Brutal Cathar, and we'll go with that. And I tend to play post-sideboard with 61 cards because in reality for the mana base it doesn't matter very much according to the statistics, as probability. So I like to play with that extra card to give myself a little bit more potentially to play with. Alright, so the opponent will be on the draw here. We'll see if we can have a fast start here. Okay, even though we've got 2 Skrelvs, I'm going to go ahead and keep this because as we saw in the first game, they're likely to kill the first thing that's out there. So we'll put a Skrelv out, we'll let them kill it, and then we'll go from there. And looks like they've mulliganed down to 6. So that should help us out here a little bit. One less card for them. Alright, we'll put Skrelv out. And hopefully they use their removal here on Skrelv so they don't have it for something else that matters to us more. Alright, with this one, I'm actually going to play Skrelv again and then Dauntless Bodyguard on the Skrelv. so that it's protected if we need it. And then on turn 3 here, we'll go ahead and start getting our Luminarch Aspirants down. All right, they're going to Brotherhood's End, and we're going to activate this to protect Skrelv. So Skrelv is protected, and now we'll play a Django here. We'll put this down, and we'll put the counter on Luminarch Aspirant because we're going to go ahead and hopefully protect that. Hopefully they don't have a second Brotherhood's End here. Otherwise, if they do, that's going to put us in a tough situation. But Skrelv is probably the more likely target of this. Alright, so they're playing Anger of the Gods, so we're going to... we can't protect it, unfortunately. We'll do this, but it's not going to protect that, unfortunately. We'll protect from red. But unfortunately, it's going to get it. So a lot of bad luck to start with here in terms of what the opponent has been able to do. You know, that's their 3rd removal spell. They played 2 board wipes already. And even though we're in kind of a tough spot here, we're not all that far behind. Okay, so now they're going to play Mind Splice Apparatus to try to reduce the cost of their spells here a little bit. All right, so we're going to actually, because I want to get stuff out here on the field. Normally in this situation, I would go ahead and power up Mutavault, but I want to get that 1-drop on the field, hoping they don't have another board wipe against us. All right, so Mind Splice Apparatus gets its token. Reduce the cost of everything by 1. And again, hopefully they don't have another board wipe. I mean, 2 in the first 4 turns is a lot, but hopefully they won't have another one here, because if they do, then we're pretty much in a tough situation where it's going to be very difficult to win at that point, because we just won't have enough creatures in play. And we are only 1 mana away from being able to use Castle Ardenvale as a creature generating engine, and now they're going to put that away. All right, we get our next Skrelv. Play that there. All right, this time we are going to power up Mutavault. And I'm going to put the counter on Mutavault because if they do have a board wipe, then Mutavault is protected. Okay, so that's important to us here. Okay, so let's see what they've got. They're going to play an Alron's Epiphany for 4 mana. Okay, that sucks. And they get to go again. We'll see if they have something else here. If they've got a creativity, then the game's over, because they'll be able to get out there a Tarka or a Traxa, and then they'll be able to do a whole bunch of stuff to us. Alright, so they're going to divide by 0 our Brutal Cathar. Okay, and that's okay for us. And they're going to get a Teachings to draw that, and they have another Alron's Epiphany. Okay, so basically we have not been able to play Magic for several turns. So they've taken 3 straight turns. So they should win this game, because there's really not much we can do at this point. Unfortunately, you know, Mind Splice Apparatus is really helping them to be able to cast everything they draw. Our hope here is they don't draw any more Alron's Epiphanies, or they don't get their Indomitable Creativity, and then on the swing back here, we'll be in okay shape, because we'll be able to take out one of their tokens with Brutal Cathar, and then we can power up our team to go from there. And we could potentially just ossify 1 and then power up our Mutavault to get more damage through. But that's just kind of where we are, and we'll have to kind of see what they're going to be able to do here. They're looking at the Skrelv, so that's a good sign for us that they don't have an Indomitable Creativity, and that's going to put us in a pretty good position to potentially win the game. Okay. And Skrelv is, of course, you know, and they get to do all that, and there's not much we can do about it. So unfortunately that happened to us, so they're going to go ahead and attack here. So it looks like they're not likely to have another Alron's Epiphany at this point, which would be fantastic for us, but they were able to get rid of those 2. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we want to go ahead and attack with Mutavault, because that's going to help us out here quite a bit. And since we only have 2 open mana, we're going to go ahead and play this and take out the bird that is available. But if they have, again, if they have removal here, the game's probably over for us at that point, because it's just going to be so hard to do any damage to the opponent. But they don't, so let's see if we can get in our attack without losing it. And yep, they take out our Mutavault. So now not only did they take that out and we lose the 3 damage, but we also have lost a land. Hopefully they don't get anything good here with the Impulse. Hopefully they drew poorly. But we're at the point where, yeah, I mean, that's 3 Alron's Epiphanies. Pretty much they're going to win the game because we just can't play Magic. I mean, they've taken 3 extra turns at this point. And that's why, you know, this is one of those feel-bad games where, you know, you can't beat it. It's hard to beat anybody when they get 3 extra turns. And this is one of those reasons why you see a lot of people not liking those cards. And with our Brutal Cathar coming down like that, the game's over. Alright, so let's go to game 3. Basically, they won because the only reason they were able to win there was because they took 3 extra turns. Hopefully we will avoid the 3 extra turns this time, and we'll have a good start, and they won't have multiple board wipes for us. Alright, so no turn 1 play, but we've got a Mutavault, and we can slow them down a little bit with our Thalia, and then we can get Adeline going. And most of the removal stuff that we've seen from them has a hard time hitting our Adeline, so that's a good sign for us. We'll see if they take Thalia out. They don't. We'll see if they have a counter for Adeline. They don't. So now we can get our game going here and start dealing some quick damage. And then next turn we'll put in either, if we get another land, we can do a Redan and a Hopeful Initiate, and that'll put us in a place where we're really close to that nice 2-turn clock that we want to be on at this point. Okay, they're going to potentially counter this or do something in response to it. Okay, and that's going to lock us in, and we're playing these guys pre-combat, so we get the bonus for Adeline. So Adeline's up to 6, so we're doing 10 total damage this time. And now, again, it's just a matter of, can we survive the turn with some creatures in play? And the good news is that in our hand we have another Redan, and we have also an Adeline. So we're in pretty good shape. And what I probably will do is play this on the Protector Shield side, Valkamir, because then it's going to require them to pay some stuff and reduce some things. Okay, so they do get rid of our stuff here, but we're going to quickly rebuild Adeline with those 2 cards, and we've got another Adeline in hand, so we do 5 damage. They're down to 2. So the nice thing at this point is we've got 2 Mutavaults. We can activate both of them, even if they board wipe, to go ahead and deal a fatal blow here. And we'll see what they're able to do here. Alright, they're giving us the good game. We'll good game them. And we'll see if they can take out Redan. And looks like they're going to let us finish here, so we'll go ahead and attack with that to go ahead and win the game. Alright, so that's our match number 1 to us with the Mono White Humans deck. Alright, going into game 2 here against Vitamin C. Or match 2 here. Alright, we'll see if they're playing. They're on the draw, so that'll be a little bit of a slowdown for us, but we'll see what this means to us. So this is a good starting hand. We got our 3 lands, so we can play Adeline, we can play Brutal Cathar on curve as need be. We got a couple of 1-drops. So that'll help us out as well. Looks like we're playing a Golgari or Abzan deck. This could be the Abzan Greasefang deck. We'll see. We're playing. Looks like we're playing elves here. So to slow the opponent down, we're going to have to start doing some things to do that, because they're going to get. They've already got. They're already at a place where they have 5 mana. So we're going to go ahead and take one of their mana dorks. And we'll go ahead and wait back and try to get some. We want to wait back because we want to be able to play Adeline and then attack at that point to do some damage. Okay, they're going to play a Tyvar. And Tyvar's likely is going to go get something. They're going to untap it so they can play another creature or do something. Alright, I'm going to play Mutavault here. We're going to play Adeline because we got to get rid of him. And yes, they can kill something, but to prevent all the damage, they're going to have to do both. Alright, so it's down to 3. So hopefully on the next turn we can get Brutal Cathar to take out whatever their biggest creature is. And we'll also get Hopeful Initiate into play. And they're going to Collective Company, so this is not going to be good for us. But the good news is that they only got an Elvish War Master off of that and another Mystic. They're going to untap, so they're going to have some things here. And they get another War Master, so we're in pretty bad shape at this point. Because they've got a lot of blockers and we don't have much to defend with. And we're gonna go. Adeline is gonna go ahead and attack, and we're gonna go ahead and attack with the other creature, the other 1/1 human token as well, so we can hopefully get some damage in here. Obviously, they're gonna block Adeline. They'll take out one of the tokens. We get down to 4, or 4 to 3. But right now, this is just they're getting a really, really good draw out. Hopefully, they don't have anything else in their hand, and we can, hopefully stabilize for a turn here. But it's not looking good for us at this point because the shaman gets to go ahead and do some damage and pick up another creature, and they've got 3 mana to deal with, so they play another one. And we're down to 9. Wow. Well, that really sucked. And they're going to mill and bring something back. So that's going to be, another Mystic, Visionary to get another card. So they've really gone off against us, and we have really just drawn lands, unfortunately. So I think we're pretty much dead at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and concede because I don't see us actually winning the game at this point because we drew 6 lands and there's not much we can do. So big thing, Portable Holes coming in, Wedding Announcement. Obviously, we're going to bring in the swords. Wedding Announcement's coming in here too. And the reason I'm bringing Wedding Announcement in is that it's going to create extra blockers for us, and we're going to need those extra blockers. So we'll take Gideon out as well. And let's go ahead and take both Donald's bodyguards out because they're really not playing anything, at least right now, that tells me, oh, we're going to be playing something against you. We're going to take, actually, we're going to go only 3 Wedding Announcements. We'll take out a Thalia as well. And I guess we'll take out a Recruitment Officer because it's going to die to a 1/1. Alright, so let's go to game 2. Hopefully we will have a little bit better luck here. The opponent won't get to go off quite as much as they did in the first game. Hopefully we can get some removal in there for their... and we're going to have to mulligan. Ugh. Wow, we're going to mulligan down to 5 here. So this is really well, actually, we're going to keep 6. We'll put a land back. Unfortunately, this is not a good situation for us. This is probably a loss. But at least we've got 2 removal cards, so we can slow their early game down, hopefully enough to prevent them from going off before hopefully we draw into some of our creatures from the deck. Alright, so we'll start out with our recruitment officer. I'm going to assume either Lion or Worth or Elvis Mystic will be the next card, or first card for them. It looks like they're having some issues, and they're not playing a creature there. They're playing this one. Okay, so they're playing this. So I'm going to go ahead and attack here, and then I may need to go ahead and portable hold that on the next turn if it looks like they're going to get a bunch of cards. And so whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, then your opponent you get to draw the card. So we're going to take out the Mystic right away. Oh, we got the sword too. Outstanding. But we're going to go ahead and portable hold the Mystic. They're going to draw a card off of it, but for us in the long run, that's just a better situation. And then we'll power up Mutavault here because we can, and we'll attack for. And I misplayed that on the previous turn. I should have played it. So I just basically wasted the 2 mana there. We could have ossified something else if we needed to. All right. Bad play there. All right. So this is the one that deals damage to us. Now we'll go to our turn. We get a Luminarch Aspirant. What I'm going to do here, though, is even though it's going to draw them a card, I'm going to go ahead and take this away because it's an effective blocker against us, and we want to get that off the field. And this way we get them down to 10. And then next turn we can Sword or we can Luminarch Aspirant. Ideally, we draw our 4th land, and then we can use Luminarch Aspirant and Mutavault. And hopefully they're good. So they're spending their turn to play Tyvar. So they don't have anything in the graveyard right now. So hopefully whatever they get when they minus Tyvar won't be all that great for us. Oh, they do have some land, so they've got an ability here to play Mystic. Okay, so we could see them tap and then untap something. And Elvis Mystic can use its mana ability because of Tyvar's ability. So they're going to be able to go ahead and create a couple of mana to play something here. And that's the brutal thing about Tyvar in these situations, because Tyvar can just do so much to help them. Okay, the good news is that we're going to, in this situation, I'm actually going to play Thalia's Lieutenant because it's going to proc both of my creatures. So that means that just one of them has to get through here, and we can do some serious damage to Tyvar. I'm not going for lethal here because I'm really concerned that they're going to get to a point where they have too much stuff on the board and we can't do anything. Unfortunately, we didn't draw the land there, but that's what we get. So this next turn we'll be able to do one of these, and we've got 3 attackers, so that's going to help us a little bit potentially, depending on what they're going to get here. Okay, they get a Realm Walker. I'll call it an elf, and they've got another 2 mana. They're going to play that. So they've gone wide very quickly. And this is the power of this deck with Tyvar, because that doesn't happen if you can't tap Lionowar Elves for mana. Alright, so now we've got a Brutal Cathar, so that's a good place for us. And that will take out that. And again, I should have taken this out on turn 1 instead of the Mystic. And this time we're going for face because we've got to go for a kill here, or we're just going to lose, unfortunately. So they can kill Lieutenant or Recruitment Officer, but if they don't, we're going to go ahead and have some creatures that are going to be able to go through and do something here. And I'm probably going to play Sword of Forge and Frontier next. Okay, they're going to let some of the damage through, so that's good for us. But it does take out 2 of our creatures, which is the negative side of it. But with Sword of Forge and Frontier, getting that down, they're on a 1-turn clock after that. So hopefully they can't kill us in the next 2 turns. But they're drawing cards like crazy. I mean, they're already 9 cards ahead of us, and now they're growing their team, so that's going to be a problem for us. So we're definitely not going to be attacking on this turn. All right, we finally get our 4th land. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too late. But we'll be able to... We've got lethal on the next turn if they don't gain any life here. And it looks like they don't have lethal on their side, at least right now. Alright, Tyvar makes everything active. But they're down to 1 card, so that's the good news. And we'll see what they've got here. Okay, they're going to play another elite. Okay, so they got lots of blockers, lots of attackers. But again, with Sword, with our sword in play, and we'll attach it to Hopeful Initiate, and we win the game at that point. If they can't kill us right now, which doesn't look like they can, because they can only attack for 5 right now. Yep, and they're seeing that. So, all right, we take game number 1, or number 2 there, and we're going to just run it back, and hopefully I will play a little bit better next game, because I obviously made a couple mistakes there, but we were able to work around them, and that's the sword was really the thing that mattered to us there. All right, going to game 3, our second match. Come on, opponent, decide. Are you gonna go first? Probably a good decision if you do. All right, so back for game 3. We've got a strong hand to start with. So I'm very happy with this. We can draw a land. We're in really good shape. And our Thalu's Lieutenant, we would play that on turn 2, and that's going to grow a Recruitment Officer. Hopefully enough that we can get it in underneath whatever the opponent's got. And we draw our 3rd Thalu's Lieutenant. So our team's going to grow pretty quickly here. With all these Thalu's Lieutenant. Hopefully we've got enough time in the game to get there. Okay, they're playing Tyvar on turn 2. They probably have another 1-drop that they're going to play here. Yep, he's going to untap, so we're going to play another 1-drop. They play that one. All right, we're going to go for it here. And we're going to go after Tyvar in this situation because we want to make it so he can't mill to put another creature into play. Okay, and we do have our 3rd land here, so this is a very good thing for us. Now, obviously, they got a mana there, so they've got a bunch of mana to play with here, so they're probably going to go ahead and untap Elvish Mystic, play it again, so get a 3-drop out here. Now, the good news for us is if we need to, we can also put Thalu's Lieutenant in play to go ahead and grow both of our guys. So Thalu's Lieutenant's on the field would be a 3/3, and then Recruitment Officer would be a 4/3. And in that situation, even if they're blocking, it's not a good outcome for them. Okay, they're tapping to get that 3rd mana, and they, I guess, decided not to use it. Okay, so just doing that. All right, we're going with Adeline here. And we're going to go after Tyvar. Now, they can sacrifice the 2/2 one to go ahead and kill Recruitment Officer. But the good news is good. So they're just letting it happen. That's a good place for us to be. And now we can ossify their Leaf Crown Visionary. Well, I guess we can. We can go ahead and ossify that if we need to. Or if we draw a land, we can just grow our team to be much, much larger than theirs by playing a land here. Okay, so good. So we're going to go ahead and grow our team. That's going to trigger everybody. Do it again. Trigger everybody. and now we're going crazy with those. And let's go ahead and trigger them again. And now we're looking to do almost 20 damage right now. Okay, 26 damage on that, just by playing the 3 Thalia's Lieutenant. So, all right, that's game number 2 to us, beating the mono green Elves deck. All right, so we're back for our Ultra here. So in those 2 games, you kind of saw the power of the mono white humans deck. Again, this is for Explorer on Arena, but again, you can play all the cards in Pioneer. And I think this is a pretty strong deck overall. It's fast, it's efficient, and I think we're going to see more and more of this as people move forward. Again, it was very popular at Pro Tour Phyrexia. The only thing, we didn't really see the sideboard utilized very much. We didn't play against anything that was playing enchantments outside of the 1-drop enchantment that a Portable Hole could deal with. But if the format goes towards more of the Boros Hammers format, I can see putting in a Cathar Commando. Type it in here so we can look at it. So Cathar Commando could be a good option because it can kill. A, it's human, but B, you can flash it in and then you can deal with an enchantment or an artifact if you need to. Lorna is the other option, Lorna of the 3rd path. She's another good option for us here because Lorna can be used to destroy an enchantment or an artifact when she comes into play. And potentially, if you need it, she could be a draw engine as well. You draw and your opponent draws, but at least you're continuing to draw cards. All right, so that's the mono white humans deck for Pioneer / Explorer. I think a really good deck to play in the Caffeinated Gamer Store Championship when it comes up on March 4th. Hope you liked the video. Please remember to like and subscribe so you can get further content like this in the future. Thanks for staying to the end of the video. We appreciate it.